BBC News at midday. The former Prime Minister of Pakistan, Imran Khan, has been arrested after a court sentenced him to 3 years in prison over corruption allegations. He was found guilty of not declaring money he'd earned from selling state gifts. He denies wrongdoing and says he'll appeal against the ruling. Mr Khan's lawyer, Intezar Hussain Panjata, said his legal team had not been given a fair chance to make his case.
Never in the history of Pakistan, nobody has seen such a biased trial, such a trial based on the trial by a kangaroo court. We have never witnessed a trial where the accused was never given the opportunity to defend himself. Even the legal team, including myself, I was maltreated by the court a number of times, and I was the one who was asked by the court to shut up.
In a video recorded before he was arrested, Imran Khan told his supporters not to sit at home quietly and urged them to stand up for their rights. His previous arrest in May sparked nationwide unrest in which a number of people died. Ukraine has released footage appearing to show a sea drone hitting a Russian fuel tanker in the Black Sea. Officials in Moscow say the vessel's engine room was damaged in the attack which happened in the Kerch Strait between Russia and occupied Crimea. It's the second Ukrainian strike on a Russian ship in 2 days. Here's our Ukraine correspondent, James Waterhouse.
What Kyiv is saying is Russia cannot think that it can use the Black Sea as blackmail, and it's hoping and it's warning that more drone strikes will follow. But I don't think 2 damaged vessels will do much to change the dynamics in the south of Ukraine. But I think the endeavour for Ukraine is that it will frustrate Russian supply lines. It might stem those missile attacks, and it might help Ukraine's counter-offensive on the mainland.
Saudi Arabia is hosting talks to discuss a path towards peace in Ukraine. Senior officials from Ukraine and its Western allies are being joined by others from countries including Brazil, India and South Africa. China, which has maintained close links to Russia, is also taking part, but the Kremlin was not invited to the talks in Jeddah. The Ukrainian MP, Kira Rudik, said she hoped neutral countries would be persuaded to support the fight against Russia.
In moving forward in isolating Russia and exhausting them economically, militarily, we need more countries coming on board with the sanctions. The sanctions that were imposed by the Western democracies, they work slower than expected. So we need more countries on board, more countries involved.
The government insists it's taking action to help recruit and retain more foster carers after calls for more support to tackle a shortage in the sector. The Children's Commissioner for England, Dame Rachel de Souza, expressed concerns that people were being put off by the level of bureaucracy. South Korea says it will press ahead with the World Scout Jamboree despite several countries moving children out of the campsite because of hot weather. Hundreds of teenagers at the site have been treated for heat-related illnesses. The United States and Singapore are the latest countries to withdraw. More than 4,000 British participants are heading to the capital, Seoul. Ellen Hebden's son is among them.
He has sent us some photos of himself. It is in the late 30s, but today it was supposed to feel like 50. So it's got to be very hot. At the moment, we don't know what's going to happen next. All I know is that he's going to make it to Seoul. And from there, I can imagine that the Scouts are working really hard at the moment trying to find or create a programme for the young people.
In sport, England are through to the final of the Netball World Cup after beating New Zealand 46-40. They'll face either Australia or Jamaica tomorrow. At the Women's Football World Cup, Japan have beaten Norway 3-1, taking them through to the quarter-finals. Spain will join them after they thrashed Switzerland 5-1. BBC News.